Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Collaboration Conversations. I'm Regina Partain Bergman, co host of this Collaboration Conversations program. And I'd like to introduce my lovely co host, Miss Pearl Cox.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm Pearl Cox of Pearls of Wisdom. And yes, I just love these. I so look forward to just catching up with Regina and sharing just what art knowledge we have out with you.
Absolutely. And we look forward to laughter and fun while we're doing it. We were just talking about if we can't laugh while we're doing it, it's not worth doing, in my opinion. So,
Like,
someone asked me one time, how did they put that? Anyway, could I not have a conversation or something without laughing? And I said, no. It bubbles out of me. I have no control over it. It's kind of like my tears. I have no control over them. So I'm either on one side or the other, right?
but they're happy tears as well, quite often.
Oh, quite often. Yeah,
I can be
quite
moved
often.
to tears through pure joy that something
Absolutely.
right. And it's just great.
It is. So we hope that you will join us every week. We come on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The time might vary a little bit depending on what's going on in our lives. We may have to shift times a little bit. So we're about 15 minutes past our desired time this morning, but we're here, and we are going to talk about something that I think is super exciting today. And that is a new project that Pearl has, a new mode of communication. I shouldn't say new, she's done this in the past, but she has a new platform for it. And so, Pearl, I'm going to let you tell us all about your new POW Pearls of Wisdom platform.
Well, this is something I am so excited about. Yes, during lockdown, I was asked to be a radio presenter on an online internet radio station. And I went from never having spoken or doing anything. I just started my podcast to not only being a presenter, did 2 shows, and I even was allowed to go live. They actually trusted me to broadcast live to the world, to actually questions. And believe me, that was scary. But this is what I've done. Anyone that knows me knows my vision and purpose is to give a voice to the unspoken.
Yes.
And I just
and you do that so well.
And I thought, how do I do this? I always do this through the collaboration pieces, through podcasts and everything. And I suddenly thought, radio station, online internet radio station. And I saw the prices and they're not extortionate. And so I now have my own radio station, which is wisdom.
Well, actually, the way we do that, the way we clap here is this way. Yeah.
Excuse me, as you can hear, I have been talking a lot for the last week or so. So everyone that knows me as well, my voice may start to go, but literally I've started that. I've got presenters that are all geared up to join. We have a website which I can always share at the bottom of this. So it
cool.
Currently I'm running my Pearls of Wisdom podcast interviews on there, and where I've been doing the International Women's Day panels, I've got those running so that people can listen to them. But as soon as I've got content from all the presenters, we're probably looking now, probably towards the end of this month, start of May, we will have everything going. We've got you can promote on there. There's the chance to promote your business.
Nice.
We'll have adverts and jingles. There's the chance to sponsor things. So it's a proper radio station. I'm talking to people now about getting the music, so I know that I can pay the copyright to the artists once I've played their music. And I'm going to make sure it's all positive, upbeat music, all the music that I love. And I'm not going to have a single news item on it. If it is news, it's positive. So I'm trying to really stay in a positive vein. Loads and loads of different things. We might be running a book club so that people can join and interact. There is a chat button on the website, on the station. So if there's a show,
nice.
if there's content that you'd like to hear, if that once I've got the music set up, if there's music you'd like played, you can request. So when I'm on live or any of my presenters are on live and people want to request music, they can use the chat option and can reach out to do that. So I thought all this up last week, and now I'm live and everything. So, well, you know me,
You
Regina.
see how quickly things can happen, right? When you have an idea and you take action, things can happen quickly. Absolutely. I
And
love it.
this option, if people want to reach out, if they'd like to be a presenter, you can promote your business on your show. I'm saying 30 minutes because I think anything more than 30 minutes becomes a chore sometimes, and it's not something you have to do every week. When I was on the radio station previously, I had to have 2 shows ready every week, good to go. And obviously when I was going live, I'd had to have everything prepared, and sometimes it was a pressure. We all know that life gets in the way. So I'm saying to all the presenters that want to take part, do whatever content you feel obliged to, that you feel that you can talk about. It will be pre-recorded and I can upload, so I'm doing playlists for that. As more people come on board and people are brave enough and want to, they can go live. Obviously, if people are listening to this and they're already used to being on the radio and they want to take part and be part of the station, please just reach out and let me know, and we can start to discuss and I can start to schedule.
Awesome.
When this is, because it's internet, it's online, it's global, so it will be live. It will be playing music, discussions, anything for 24/7. So we will always have the need for more presenters. So please don't think if you see a few. I mean, we can have loads, and I'm also going to be doing, where I do the PAL panels, I will be interviewing and bringing the presenters together, so you get to hear all about what they do and everything. We're probably going to do at least once a month. So this is the way. This is it's been live for 3 days now, so that's how busy
Well, you've got me thinking, because you and I were working on setting up a podcast for our collaboration conversations. And so walk us through what factors would go into the decision of whether or not you want a podcast or a radio show.
I don't see any difference, and this is the discussion I had with the people that ran the radio station that I was on through lockdown, because they were doing scheduling their, all they were doing was scheduling the shows. Some shows were cherry picked if they had a specific connection to the presenter, and they would go onto a podcast. But the podcast platform they'd chosen was a paid for platform, and when you've got 20 odd presenters for an hour a time every week, that becomes expensive. So there was only people that would be added to the podcast. So if you didn't hear that show when it went live or as it was aired, you didn't get to hear it again. And I was in the whole time, I said, people have changed the way we consume our media. And because everyone loves to binge watch, we've got Netflix, we've got Disney Plus, we've got Amazon Prime. We don't like to wait for the next episode next week. We want to and have it there. And likewise with podcasts, people like to listen as and when they want to, not be stuck to a schedule.
Exactly.
So this is what's so special with having an online internet radio station, because you can choose, you can set up playlists. Every presenter will have their own page, which will have a bio and link to all their social networks and everything. And what I'm looking to do as well is actually pull together, as the station grows, a playlist of all those presenters' episodes, so that everyone can hear. So if you miss one, it's always going to be available on replay so that people can listen to that. The fact that I'm currently getting people to re-record, I've always got that content. So there is,
Right.
with the platform, you can also use it like a podcast. So there will be replays available. So I can also have a
Okay.
set place. I might have it on a specific podcast platform, but like I said, I've been working with it for 3 days. There could still be a podcast platform on it, and I will find it.
I know you mentioned positivity,
Yes.
that you don't want it to be negative things, you want them to be positive posts. Are there any other restrictions that you're asking of folks who want to be a presenter on there? Is there anything else that could define what they're going to be doing?
All I'd say is keep it clean. I mean, if
Yeah.
it's going to, yes, we do hear the odd
Yeah.
expletive. People can swear, but please, if it's going online, this is my brand, this is my reputation. Please keep the
Right.
swearing off of things, because it's not professional. This is
Yeah.
a way for people to talk about what they do. You can promote your business on it. So if you've got a service or a product that you'll want to promote at the time, it's there. You can talk about that on your show. I wouldn't recommend constantly pushing things, because the listeners won't want that.
Right.
If you've got a topic, the way most podcasts run now, where you can interview people if you want to, you can just talk about a set topic. Once I know I've got all the music set up, if you want to have music played through it, we can actually play music. And as long as I know, I then know exactly what to budget for at the end of the month when I'm paying royalties to people. So this is a real positive. And like I said, there's a page that's all for promotion. So if people want to promote their business separately, yes, it will come at a cost, but it's going to be very reasonable if they want to promote that. There's also the thing, because the way it's set up, we can do jingles. If you've got a campaign that, say, you're going to run December time, we can plan, and you could actually have jingles set up and produce that would play on every show or every other show, so you're constantly there being reminded. So this is where it's just perfect. And I go back to my vision and purpose, to give a voice to the unspoken. I mean, there's no
What
better
a step
way.
forward here. What a step forward in achieving that vision. That's awesome.
And likewise, if there's a show that people would like to have featured, I mean, yes, I've talked about a book club, because I love reading, and almost having that where we can have a certain book that people can talk about. Our presenters might be on the panel. We could actually have listeners joining in, because like I say, there's a chat feature that they can actually message. I can pick that up, or it can go directly to a presenter that's on air, and they can see sort of as the questions come in, people can answer them. And there's so much potential with this. And I say again, it's global. It literally, if you've got the link, you can listen to it, because the way it's set up, yes, it's set up like a website, but where I've already put the playlist, there's a player at the top of the screen. So you literally press that and you can listen to what's being played at that time.
Fantastic.
Currently, it's pre-recorded stuff.
Gotcha. Any idea what that station's audience size is currently around the globe?
Now, because I only set it up 3 days ago, they let me start with 10 listeners. Now that's 10 listeners. You then duplicate every presenter going out to their network to get people to listen to them. I've been in discussions with people this morning where they're going to get their media people to put it in their media pack, so it will go out to really large organizations as we get more sponsors involved. And as with all these things, it's people getting involved and sharing. I've only shared the link to the station in one Facebook Messenger group this morning. Prior to that, it was just me that knew where it was, because I wanted to make sure it looked smart.
Sure. Get your ducks in a row, and but
there are bits I need to work on still, but I'm aware of that.
But that's a key point for everybody to take note of. It's not perfect. You've made it. You've spent time to make sure it does look good, but you haven't gone for perfection before launching. No. So many times we get caught in that it's got to be perfect before I launch it phase. and we never get things launched.
Exactly.
And it's so
Yeah.
important. You take that idea, create a working model of it, move it out there, tweak it, finish it on the fly, so to speak,
Yeah.
instead of waiting for perfection.
And this is the way I've always worked for. You know the way I work, Regina. I can't. I'm not one to wait until it's perfect, because patience is a virtue I don't have. I'm the first to admit I have no patience whatsoever. I want it done now, so I launch, and then you share. And that's the whole idea of technology, agile.
Yes.
Practice, literally, you change with each iteration, you grow. When you see something, you put it out there, and then it will morph and grow. I mean, we could be having this conversation in 2 months' time, and we could have hundreds and thousands of listeners, because people have got on board and embraced what it is, and seen a way to promote things. Like the whole idea of radio advertising, it's so much cheaper than going on the TV, but it's got a lovely audience, and people do listen, because if you've got a catchy jingle, that will stick in your head. You can guarantee that.
And not only that, you can listen to the radio while you're driving your car. You can't watch Netflix while you're driving your car.
Or at least we shouldn't. We definitely
You should not. Agreed. You should not be doing that. Please don't do that, folks. We want you around another day to join us. So please don't watch Netflix while you're driving your car. Too funny. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm so excited for you and for this, and definitely want to be one of those presenters on your show. So let me ask you a question. There may be some folks who are listening to this who are also saying, wow, I think I should have my own show. What would you counsel them? What would you tell them to help them make a decision on what they need to do?
I'd say go for it. If you're thinking, if it's something that excites you, or you're just thinking, maybe I should, definitely go ahead. Because I know when I first did it, I can remember when I did my first radio show, the quality wasn't brilliant, but it was authentic, and I got quite a few listeners. It's something I recorded on my MacBook. I used GarageBand. I recorded that. It was I got a decent microphone. I think most people that are already using podcasts will have a decent microphone. But I mean, I've looked, not that I have any affiliation whatsoever, but Amazon does loads of really decently priced, high quality microphones.
Absolutely.
You could have a whole kit set up for under £100 easily. In fact, the latest microphone I got was under 50. So that, and it works. It's probably better than the one I paid double that for when I look at the quality. So yes, there's certain things. The first,
and that's really important, because sound is the most important thing when it comes to podcasts and radio, because people aren't looking at you, they're listening to you. So your sound has to be good. And if you're interviewing people, their sound has to be good. So you have to set some parameters for yourself and for your guests.
And also, if you're doing interviews, we're on StreamYard here. Yes, I say StreamYard for sound quality. It's probably one of the best to actually record, because if you have a premium account, you can download the audio from your recording. Now, yes, I started off with Zoom, and Zoom is reasonably okay, but the quality of sound, especially when you're using a voice for interview, is a lot harder. It's not as professional, but it's actually it's seeing these things and also seeing what time you have. But because I know the parameters and the pressure I had to do shows every week, I've said to every presenter, do not feel you have to give me a show every week. It's what people feel guided to. That you might find that you've got a whole thing and you think, right, yes, I've got this idea. I'm going to record 5 30-minute shows. I'm going to do it in one day. Bang, send it over to Pearl and it will be ready. And that I can put out for 5 weeks. So by all means, or it might be that, yes, work commitments, you might have family commitments or something that you can't make a show. I'm not putting pressure on people, because people, if I'm putting pressure, it's no fun anymore. I want this to be fun.
Right.
I want people to enjoy it and do it because they want to. I don't want them to feel it's pressurized that, oh no, I haven't done my show this week, I've got to
Right.
find time, because I know what that feels like. And I
Yeah.
got to the stage, I will put it off. In fact, there was one time I was recording a show at 3 o'clock in the morning because it had to be ready for the following day. And I was tired and I'd been so busy, but it was the only time I had, and I didn't sleep because I had to do this radio show. And I would never, ever put that pressure on anyone else.
Along that vein, the question that comes to my mind is, do you need to know in advance what their topic is for promoting it? And do you do any promotions beforehand? And do you provide anything to them to promote it as well?
Well, every presenter, the platform that I've got, every presenter will have a presenter's page where you can add your bio, you can link to your social media channels, you can link to your website. So there's quite a lot. Everyone will get the same size, but if you've got a longer bio, obviously, because it's a web page, the page will just
be longer. Gotcha. Okay.
With that, and it's ideally, yes, I'd like to have a discussion. The people I've already got on board, I know them, I know the sort of topic that they speak about, so I'm quite happy for them to go ahead. If it's someone I don't know, ideally I'd ask them for a synopsis of what they see their show doing. When I was a radio presenter before, we were asked to look at a 12-week idea and literally see, because at the time, if you've never done it before, it sounds like a great idea. And like I said, life gets in the way. But if you've got an idea for 12 weeks, that's 12 topics you could talk about. You could have an overarching theme, and then you could do it. Some people finished after 12 weeks because they felt that there was nothing more to add to that theme.
And then so they were done. Yeah.
Other times, well, you know me, I can speak for England anyway. I've always got something to say, so I don't mind 1 week to the next. But also, that's where I added interviews. But for my previous station, when I was a radio presenter before, I had to have 2 separate shows. So the one was purely interviews, one was me talking. Whereas I'm saying to everyone now, you get the option, you can
both.
match, and it could be. I'd never interviewed anyone until I started to do my podcast and do these shows, and found out I was a natural. I love to interview people, and I like
too.
That people
I love interviewing too.
And it makes a difference. It's knowing that you get to know yourself and what your personality is like and how brave you are. I mean, I know, like I said before, when I did my first show, I pre-recorded it. We did lots of promotion, and this is where I know from experience, it's always good to set up a Facebook page that is all about your show, so you can then do maybe imagery to promote it to your network. But then also what I did before is I would always tag the other presenters, so not only was I promoting my stuff, I was promoting everyone else's. So more and more people looking, and you start to get people listening and following because they follow you and you're promoting others. More of the show get the promotion. But it's looking like that. Yes, I will look at loads of different ways of promoting. There is the option for people to sponsor the station, and as more sponsorship comes in, obviously I can do more paid promotion depending on the size of the network. You and I have a large network anyway. Most of the presenters that are already coming on board, they all have a large network, so it's going to go out.
It can go quickly.
Yeah.
Talk to us about a speaker one sheet and its value to that person who desires to be a presenter, and its value to you when they submit that, when they want to, let's say, apply to be a speaker or be a presenter on your radio show. The role that a speaker one sheet can play in all of that to smooth that process.
It's literally gold dust. see it as your shop window, because you can promote, you can almost see it as a bio and everything else, the key things that are the key selling points for you, all in one place. And then once you've got that to share, it then becomes great to introduce yourself. So if you want to come on the show or you want to be a presenter, you can show me that, and it's like your bio, it's like your resume, CV. It's a great way of introduction, but also you can have that you can share to other people. Say you want to do an interview show, you share that to possible guests, because then they can see your personality and see if they'd be a good fit to come on your show. It can be used in a multitude of ways. It really can.
Let's say that your ideal audience belongs to, or your ideal client belongs to some kind of an association, a trade association of some kind. That's a wonderful tool to give to that association to be able to get the opportunity to stand in front of that group and speak as well. So it can garner a lot of different speaking opportunities for you. And so let me segue here. Hadn't planned on this, but let me segue for just a moment. That, well, of course, folks, as you know, as we go through this conversation, it's really off the cuff, so I really didn't plan a lot. So other than to get all of the juicy goodness out of her that I could. One of the projects that Pearl and I are working on together includes being able to take people who are looking for that visibility, looking for that authority in their marketplace, and to start off with, put them in a collaboration book, but then take them through a host of other things up to potentially their own book, coaching, public speaking, all of that. One of the things that we'll be doing there is helping them create that Speaker One sheet and getting them booked on various types of stages, whether that's podcasts or now radio shows or summits or whatever, get them public speaking engagements. And so you can see that one sheet becomes super powerful, because it really is, I almost want to say your business card as a speaker, but it's like an elevated business card as a speaker.
Yes. It's almost your elevator pitch before you get to speak to someone as well. It's that introduction. It's business card come elevator pitch come everything, really.
And you can put, if you've been on other stages, you can put links to those talks on that, so they can go check out those. You share different topics that you can speak about. And let's take just a moment, and then we probably need to wrap up. We could just go forever. But when you're thinking about your topics, if you haven't been on stages before, when you're thinking about your topics, think about the audience and think about the person who is making that decision also about putting you in front of their audience, because that's what they're doing. They're looking at you and saying, do I want to put this person in front of my audience? Is that going to be a good thing or not a good thing? So you may have basically the same talk listed on your Speaker One sheet that actually might have 5 to 10 different titles for the same basic content. It might be tweaked, but it's the same basic content, but you're giving it the title that appeals to that buyer, that person who is finding people to speak to their audience. Can you speak to that, Pearl?
Definitely, because I know when I first looked to be an international speaker, I thought you just have this brilliant profile and everyone would say, come and speak. I didn't for 1 minute think you'd have a set topic. And it is, most speakers will have the same speech and they will do it on the speaker circuit. That is what they talk about. Like you say,
right.
The title might be different, but ultimately,
based on the audience.
Yeah, the content they share is always the same. So that ideally, you see, then you get to the stage, you're in front of an audience and you don't need prompt cards or anything, because it's a subject inside and out. If you're doing a different topic every stage you're on, you will need cards. You won't show as being as professional. You might know your content, but you won't know the delivery as well as if
Right.
you're using the same content over and over again. And people will come back. They will come back to listen. Like we were saying about podcasts, how often do we re-listen to our favorite? I can say,
Right.
you know, Brené Brown, I worship Brené Brown. I love what she does, and I will go back again and again to listen to what she's sharing. Might have said that once, she might have recorded that piece, that episode once, but I will listen to it 10, 20, 30 times because I love to hear that voice. But also, people will follow her around to listen, and it won't bother them that they've already heard that speech, because
Right.
it can be slight nuances every time that
Yeah.
when you have the interaction with an audience, the audience might laugh at a different piece than the people on a stage 2 days before would be. And
Yes.
that's where, and then you once you get that laughter, you extend that piece of information slightly longer because you can see you've got the engagement there. So
Right.
you might have the
Love
same
it.
technique, but it's always a slightly different speech. Could be similar, but it's never the same.
You just made me think of something that we could do a whole show about, and so let's do. And that is, when you talk about Brené Brown, what occurred to me is that she's on your Dream 100 list. She's at the top of your Dream 100 list. And that's a term, folks, if you haven't heard of it, a term made famous by Chet Holmes, um, who really designed or developed that premise. But it's really looking at who are the top 100 people that you would like to be introduced to, that you would like to work with. That and so Brené Brown tops Pearl's Dream 100 list, and we'll do something about Dream 100 one of these days, because I think that's really important. It is definitely a part of collaboration conversations, having your list and acting on it. I was in a VIP, a platinum VIP group yesterday. Uh, uh, and one of the things that we did, one of the breakouts, was around our Dream 100 list. And as we sat in these small groups of about 6 people, I think there may be been 6 in that, as we sat in these small groups, then we each came to that with who's 1 to 5 people on our Dream 100 list that someone in here can get me closer to. And so as each person either talked about specific people or the type of people that they want, then the rest of us in the group would then, okay, I can introduce you to XYZ. And it's really a powerful, powerful way to make that connection with your Dream 100 list and move your business forward dramatically.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I
Great playground.
Yes, I just love this because it's every week we have a different topic, and it just opens up to be 5 or 6 potential shows from that, because you can go into further depth, and it just starts with one conversation, one theme, and then we grow and see just how we can move it forward, and that all comes from collaboration, and that's what
it does.
cool.
Yes. And like I said, folks, we come into this with one idea that we want to talk about. We knew we wanted to talk about Pearl's new radio show, but look how many nuggets have come through this, having this conversation that started with the one idea and being open and fluid, being open to the ideas that come and sharing them and exploring them. That's collaborating. That receptivity and that willingness to explore. And then what did that trigger? What did that trigger? And the more these collaborating conversations that you have, the more you fire those neurons in your brain, and then they can see the smoke from the satellites, right? So it's a powerful way to stimulate your brain as well as to stimulate your success and your business. And your relationships. Oh my goodness, the relationships that come from having collaboration conversations are priceless. Absolutely priceless.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, Pearl, this has been fun as always. Any parting thoughts before we sign off?
Just to say, if you're on the fence and you're not sure, make the jump in any area of your life. Could have been what we're
Yeah,
talking about now. Don't stay on the fence and
do it.
don't procrastinate. Just go. You can always edit it afterwards. If you wait for perfection, you will never move.
You'll never move. Yeah. Just do it. Whatever it is, just do it and then tweak it. And then do it some more and then tweak it again. You know, there's so many things that I know there are people who believe perfect is better, but I believe that perfect never really happens
Yeah.
because life is fluid. So what you thought was perfect a minute ago may not be perfect in the next moment because life has changed. So perfect is the enemy of good. So sometimes just getting it out there good is good enough, and then you tweak it and improve it and improve it. I'm not saying put out something that's garbage or trash. You know, make sure it's of quality, but but you don't have to spend all your time making it perfect. And in fact, one of the best ways to have a good product for your audience, whether that's radio, podcast, course, whatever, is to let your audience help you create it. Go with the feedback, take it to a group of people, let them participate with it, and then get their feedback, and then tweak it some more, and do that to continue to refine it so that you're creating something that your audience wants. Because we all think we're brilliant and our ideas are brilliant. Oh man, I got to do this because I thought of it. It's so great. Well, guess what? It may not be what your audience wants. How many times have we seen that, Pearl?
Most definitely. When it comes to user experience or user journey, listen to the audience, get
Listen.
feedback, maybe do a poll
Yeah,
or a survey and see
yeah,
what people have liked, because what you're sharing might not be what the audience wants.
yeah, exactly. And we're so excited about it because it's our brainchild, our baby, but nobody wants to hold our baby. They think we have an ugly baby. Imagine. Oh my goodness. We hope you've had a laugh or two with us this morning and that something we have said has triggered some thoughts for you. If you're interested in being a part of Pearl's platform, her radio platform, as a presenter or being a guest on her show or whatever that is, be sure to reach out to Pearl and chat with her. Get your speaker one sheet in place before you do, if at all possible, because that will help her know how you fit into her paradigm, into her show, and then she can make a better choice. Or she can guide you and say, this isn't quite what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something a little more over here. Oh, gee, I can wear that hat too. Or, oh, no, that's not me. Right. So it's a conversation starter and a point of reference for whether or not you're a match for one another. Be sure to come with your speaker one sheet in hand, if at all possible.
But
All righty.
we also have this wonderful platform. This platform isn't going away. So if you want to be a guest on this, or if there's a topic you'd like us to discuss, please message us, reach out to us.
Yes.
Because, yes, this is something, I'm afraid this is for life. We are going to grow and grow. The way Regina and I are when we get together, this is not going away at all.
I sure don't see it going away. And recognize we do have a waiting list of folks that we are bringing on to the show. So if you're interested in coming onto this show, let us know as soon as possible so we can get you into that list. And we can pre-record the sessions if we need to get that done. But there is a list of folks that we're going to be bringing on. And so we need to get you on the list as soon as possible so that it's not December when we have you on air. And if we have sufficient folks for it, And we're pre-recording. We could increase the number of days that we do the show. We could actually pre-record and publish on more than 2 days a week. So we could get through a longer list faster, if that makes sense. A lot of adjectives on that list. Longer list, faster. Okay, so folks, we are so glad that you're watching the show. Whoever's out there watching, we haven't had any comments this morning, so we may be the only ones up today. Well, Pearl's up towards the end of, or in the afternoon of her day, and I'm in the morning of mine. So, but whether you're watching now or later, we really appreciate you, appreciate your comments, love to get your feedback, types of people you'd like to have on the show, whether that's you or someone else, topics you'd like us to discuss. Remember, it's all about having collaboration conversations to grow your business, to grow your network, which grows your net worth.
Yes.
Speaking of which, one quick thing, going to be doing a 14-day challenge coming up soon on expanding your network. And we'll talk a little bit more about that on Thursday. Awesome. Have an amazing day, friends. We appreciate you. Come back and see us on Thursday. Watch for it. We'll have a little announcement before we go on so that you'll know we're coming, but you can always catch us later on because we're here on LinkedIn Live. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. So you can, all over each of our platforms. So you can find us. All right. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.